So it is Friday, what, August 14th. And I'm in front of the crazy Mbl system. And I mean, these are just, look at those monsters. I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, there's just I mean, I can't even lift one of those up. I believe that's like 300 pounds per chassis with these Mbl amplifiers, as well as these are the basically the bass drivers in here. But the shear, I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, just the craft, just the way it's designed. I've never heard anything like it before. You guys just heard it, and I'm blown away, to say the least. I mean, and what's funny about it is that I would have imagined that the system is too big for the room, but it's not. It actually feels like very well composed. It doesn't overload the room. I don't hear a lot of bass or boominess or nothing. Like, it just feels like it's perfectly dialed in. And you can only imagine the power cords. I mean, look at the back. I mean, Mike has just an insane amount of outlets in here. And that's what's needed to get these things to sing and to really get them moving. To say the least, I would say I'm just very impressed, of course, but I mean, only a few of you are able to even put something like this in your own home. I know I can't, but if you have that, then I got to tell you, you got probably some of the best, if not the best system I've heard in a long time. I know some of you guys are always asking questions about the Griffin Essence, so I came out here to Suncoast Audio to see Mike and to hear the Griffin Essence stereo amplifier. I'm going to be loading some videos throughout the week where you can hear the amplifier playing music with the Pandora preamplifier and an MBL DAC. The cabling, I believe, was it AudioQuest that we used?
AudioQuest and WireWorld.
Yeah, AudioQuest and WireWorld cabling. But what I wanted to say is this thing is incredible. There's no way this is 50 watts. I'll say that right now. This is not 50 watts. This amplifier, in my opinion, I would say probably at least 100 watts. Class A. It really feels like it too. It feels very well built. Typical Griffin. I mean, nothing here feels cheap. Absolutely nothing. I mean, as you guys know, I had the Sim Audio 860 version 2 for a few weeks, and I got to tell you, this is in contention there. When you compare this amplifier to the Sim Audio version 2 with the Luxman 900U, you couldn't go wrong with either of those three amplifiers. But I have a soft spot for Griffin myself. I've always liked what they do, and I believe that they're still some of the best amplifiers out there, period. I don't know of many people who buy Griffin and then they sell to buy something else. I mean, I think this is one of the reasons why, right, you don't see many Griffin amplifiers on AudioGone or eBay, unless you're talking the older generation, like typically the Antillion, Signature or things like that. But you're not going to really see a current Griffin amplifier online. It's just hardly happens, guys. This is just not the amplifier that you easily replace. I had the pleasure to listen to these here, the Estalons, which are the Forza, which are 140,000 MSRP. I heard these puppies here too, which are the Vivid Audio G2s, S2, which I'm extremely blown away by, I must say. And then we heard these as well. This is one hell of a speaker too, fine audio, highly efficient. I loved everything about it. We also heard I believe the Steinheims, which are somewhere in here, right here. And you guys can just listen for yourselves. We level matched everything at around 82, 83 decibels. Nothing was, nothing had an advantage. Okay, everything was pretty much even throughout. It's just different tonalities. It really depends on what you're looking to do. If I'm going to buy a speaker system today, for me, obviously with my budget, I'm not going to talk about this one here in front of you because obviously that's another league. But if I'm going to buy one for my budget and for me, it's a tough between Fine Audio and these Vivid Audios. But if I had to choose one, I would go with the Vivid Audio. I think the Vivid Audio is just a very engaging speaker. The tweeter is so refined. It never gets fatiguing. It has, zero harshness. It just flows. It literally just spreads into the room. I found it, for me, for my personal preference, the better speaker. But Fine Audio also sounds extremely clear. It's got this pinpoint precision about it that I really dig. The bass is beautiful as well. But if you're looking to have a speaker that sounds large and in a room that's not necessarily huge, I would go with these. Now, if you have the space and you want to save some money, believe me, you're not going to be disappointed with the Fine Audio's F112 at all, by any means. It's such an amazing sounding speaker, and you have some adjustments too on the bottom. On the knobs, you can adjust different things in there to make it sound correctly in your room. And the reality is there are two different types of presentations. This sounds very lively. This sounds very incredible in terms of the mid-range. I love the mid-range on this one. I was telling Mike, the mid-range just hangs in between the speakers. It just hangs in the air, and it's got a big sound stage. That's one thing that was very attractive to me, is that I was seated to the right or the left, and I still felt like I was in the middle between the speakers. So I really like that about the speakers. I know some of you guys were asking me on the video, on one of my videos, the comments were, what speakers were you considering besides the Alexia 2s? These were the speakers that I was considering right here. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if my Magnepens 20.7s leave my room and I end up with that as my second pair of speakers. It is, for the money, is an incredible speaker. It's beautiful. Like, this is leather. See, this is all leather. It's a beautiful looking speaker. I mean, what's there not to like about it? There's nothing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound biased here, but nothing here is cheap. Nothing feels cheap. Nothing feels like, that they cut any corners here. Everything is well built. The wood, it's just exquisite. I know some of you guys are always concerned about the Vivid Audio's look. I gotta tell you guys, I don't know what is ugly about those speakers, but to me, there's nothing ugly about the Vivid Audio. I mean, you got to see them in person to really appreciate how beautiful they look. And they're not huge. I mean, they really aren't. They're not a massive speaker by any stretch of the imagination. They're very narrow. They have amazing control. The bass is very fast and tight. And this tweeter is magic. That tweeter right there is some of the most refined tweeter that I've ever heard. Speed is there, the sound stage, and also remember, part of the reason why the speaker is designed this way, with all these curves and like a snail, some of you guys may say, that's part of the beauty of the sound. That's what makes it sound so amazing. It's exactly these curves. There's no edges. If you look at the speaker, there is zero edges, and that's why the music flows into the room. It never gets stuck on the cabinet. You feel like there's no cabinet at all. And some speakers you can hear that it's coming from a box, from a cabinet. With this, you don't really see the speakers. It just spreads into the air. And that's the one thing that I loved about this speaker. This speaker right here, along with the Wilson Audio Alex, actually the bigger brother of this speaker, which would be the G1 Spirits, would have been a speaker that I could have easily been happy with for a very long time, because I feel like it's just my taste in music and musicality and slam and aesthetics and how the music just spreads into the room. There's never like a feeling that anything is congested with the speaker. There's always this feeling that you turn the music on and the speakers just walk out of the room. That's the feeling that you get with Vivid Audio. I still don't understand why this is not more accepted. For me, I'm telling you, this speaker right here is killer. For what I do, for what I listen to, right here, this speaker is killer. But if you're one of those that likes more of a lively presentation, right there. Really, really, guys. I mean, those are the top two choices for me. Those would be the speakers that I would select outside of what I have already owned and what you guys have seen on my channel. I want to thank Mike for sure for having me here. I spent most of my Friday here listening, and he took the time to set up different systems that you guys will hear soon, and you get to really understand what this beautiful amplifier, again, the Griffin Essence, does. I mean, again, if you're looking for an amplifier 22,000 or below, there's nothing wrong. You can't really find anything wrong with an amplifier like this. You guys have seen the list of amplifiers I've owned. You guys have seen them. You guys have heard them. And I'm telling you right here, this amplifier is going to, I'm telling you, it is going to shock you. I don't care what speaker you got. Unless you got an MBL like this, don't tell me that you have a speaker that's too difficult to drive, because this thing will drive it. All right, so stay tuned. Be on the lookout for the videos that I will be posting about everything we did today here at Suncoast Audio, so you guys can hear some of the stuff that Mike puts together here. I was really impressed, and again, I want to thank Mike and Mikey for moving around these heavy speakers and being able to accommodate the listening sessions that we had today. Stay tuned for more.